What's up, Banties? We're back. The best part of the week, Basics and Banter. I am one of your hosts, Sam Fisher, joined for what feels like the first time in forever, my good
Yeah.
friend, Haley McClenny. Haley?
Howdy. Howdy,
Wow.
party people. It's been too long.
Do you want to tell the people what you've been doing and where they could have possibly seen you in this time?
Yeah, it's actually wild. You could have seen me in quite a few places, actually. So I was
Mm-hmm.
at the SEC tournament doing coverage for the SEC network, which was so dope. Friend of the program, Tori Vidalis, was also there with me, our fellow AU teammate and Olympian also for Team Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really fun. I got to cover all of the amazing games in the SEC tournament. And you may have seen on one day we had two 14-inning games, which
My
was
God.
bizarre and a half. So that was a blast. That was a blast. Wrapped up coverage there on Saturday, I believe. Yeah, championship was Saturday. And then on Sunday, I went on a family vacation to the Dominican Republic, which was fun. So casually did
Nice.
that.
So nice.
Spoke some Espanol all week,
Well
enjoyed some
done.
sunshine, and then went from the Dominican to Charlotte, North Carolina, where I was also doing SEC Network things, covering regionals all weekend. So I did two SEC Nows on Friday and Saturday, and then the Rally Cap show on Sunday night. Flew back to Florida as of this morning. So here we are,
Here we are.
bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, with
Yeah.
so much softball.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I think I want to start, Sam, in the recap of regionals.
Please.
I am naming this regional tournament the mid-major moment
It means a lot hearing that from
because
you.
it and I know you appreciate this, go Lions, but like we have known, I think, as fans of softball for a long time that there are certain mid majors you don't want in your regional. And
No.
I think for the first time the entire country found that out. New fans of
Mm.
softball in general found that
Mm-hmm.
out. And I think there
Mm-hmm.
were some more mid major programs really making a name for themselves and putting themselves on the map. Omaha,
Yeah.
hello.
Uh-huh.
Southeast Louisiana,
Hello.
hello. Southern
Yeah.
Illinois beating Cal, hello.
Hello.
Cal State Fullerton beating Stanford and forcing the F game, hello.
Hello.
Like, what? I can go on.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
incredible. Liberty, the
Hello.
Flames, hello, Dr. Dot Richardson. If you ever want to hang out on this podcast, Dr. Dot, you are more than
Welcome.
welcome.
Come on. And a
But
couple of Fagans on that staff. Come on.
yes, the
Hello.
fans. Hello.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
Insane. So it
I
was an awesome regional weekend.
it it truly was. And I'll tell you, obviously, I'm sitting here watching and thinking of all these mid-majors, rooting for most of them. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard to root against some of the dog. Like I can't root against the Tide, obviously.
Obvi.
I can't root against some teams because of I feel like I'm like an honorary alum for some programs.
Absolutely. Of
But
course.
what I noticed this year, like you said, more than ever, what I noticed this year was it wasn't that people were saying, like speaking on the Columbia regional, which I think was the most talked about regional, most
Mm-hmm.
tuned in, is that it's not like you said, God, Mizzou, Washington, they're playing bad. Like, how could they possibly be losing to Omaha? It was Omaha came in and they won and they went and they fought. And that is what I noticed a lot about just like the chatter online, the things that even the announcers were saying. It was like, it wasn't, it didn't really feel like upsets to me. It felt like good softball, and it felt like that day the better team won. And it
Yeah.
didn't matter what was across your chest. And I just love that conversation because let me tell you something about the mid majors. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when I was playing at a mid major, we had 6.5 scholarships. Haley McClenny.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, a fully funded
That's
program
not a lot.
has 12 full
Right.
scholarships, a fully funded program. So you are looking at programs who are working towards the same goal as the Power Five, soon to be pretty much Power Four now.
RIP.
With less resources. And that's not to
Yeah.
say that one or the other they're more competitive or more of a dog. It's not saying that at all. It's just saying you're fighting for the same thing. Just some places have a little bit harder of a path that they have to go to get
Right.
to their ultimately same goal. And I just love to see it. Like everybody out there, all 200 plus Division 1 programs, every person out there, they're working hard for a goal, living out a dream of playing college softball. And we saw that out there this weekend. People are just fighting, and I loved it.
It was so fun to watch. And
Oh,
you talk about the Columbia Regional, like when the bracket first came out, I was like, "Oh, Mizzou's got a hard regional."
mhm.
And I'm thinking, "Oh, it's Washington
Yeah,
and it's Indiana who is
yeah,
scrappy out of the Big 10, right?" Like never
yeah.
in a million years was I like, and shame on me for not realizing like the depth
It's
that
tough.
was Omaha,
Mhm.
but like Cameron Meyer, if you ever want to come on this podcast,
Dog,
you're a dog.
dog.
You're a dog. And she's like over 1,000 strikeouts in her career. Like, come on.
That
Savage.
those are
Savage.
numbers.
Savage.
That
Absolute
yeah, no, she's first. If you're listening, Cameron, you're open invitation.
open
Come,
invite.
come on
Whenever
out.
you want to hop on. We'll send you the Zoom link. You just feel free to jump
Yeah,
on whenever. And
Google Cal invite, whatever.
yeah, whenever you want. It's
Oh,
honestly it was really special to watch. And
so amazing.
on the other side of that, Lauren Kring's throwing 4 straight games for Missouri, which I
Dog.
know another friend of the program, Monica Abbott, who was calling that regional, I know
Mhm.
Monica was really like impressed by
She's
the
like, I
fact
get
that
it.
Lauren Krings is just like, no, I want the ball. Give me the ball.
Love that.
I'll take it. 4 straight.
God, that
Ah,
and they're in these extra innings, like back to back game, like everybody,
emotion. All the emotion.
all of it, everyone fought across the board. There was no, I never felt super comfortable. There were some blowouts, of course,
Yeah,
but I never felt
Texas.
super, yeah, Texas was out there just hooking them.
They whoever was in that Austin regional was destined to be hooked.
Yeah, they hooked them. And Florida finishing strong with a mercy. Like there were some that were like blowouts, but
Hmm.
I'd have to do the internet research, but I fear less blowouts than last year in regionals.
I mean, just based off the eye test, I would have to do the Googles, but
Mhm.
based off the eye test, it felt like there were a ton of close games,
Yeah.
like a
Mhm.
ton across
Yeah.
the board. Auburn and UCF going like 15, it was like 12 innings, I think, into like
Yeah.
3 a.m., which
Unbelievable.
out here on the East Coast, your girl was like, yeah,
Sleepy.
adios. I'm going to bed. I'll wake up, and see the result. Never thought the game would end at 3 a.m., but
Man.
I
Dogs.
Unbelievable. Alabama had to go extra innings with Southeast Louisiana.
Yeah.
Like, Southeast Louisiana beat Clemson twice. Like, I
Yes.
there's so many different things to
We
talk about.
had a lot, like 64 teams. Man, it's sometimes even to a point, I equate it to when you're cooking. I promise this might make sense.
It will.
When you're cooking like three dishes at once and they're all in different phases where you're like, okay, I gotta check
Mm,
this, I gotta check this, I gotta look. That's what it feels like watching regionals where it's like go back and forth. Oh, commercial,
yes.
I gotta go here. I got it on my phone, I got it on the iPad. Like just
Yes.
what a joyous time for those of us who aren't playing in the regional where we just get to watch and see what's going on in the softball world, see these kids get to a point where they've worked so hard for this, getting like starting out the season, you think you're on the road to OKC, but really in May, you took a turn and now you're really on the road to OKC. And it's just so
Yeah.
fun to watch.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you've gotta like, regardless of how hot you are, like, yes, the tournament is based off of your total body of work, right? But like,
Mm.
you've gotta be hot at the right time if you want to make it to
We
Oklahoma City.
we have said it weeks in a row. You
Yeah,
have got
like
to be hot at the right time.
case in point, Arkansas, right? Like, just a really tough finish to their season.
Mhm.
Great senior class,
Yeah.
extremely well coached, a ton of
Mhm.
talent, but just got cold. Like,
Yeah.
lost to Ole Miss in the regular season finale.
Mhm.
One and done in the tournament. They still get the 12 seed. They like sneak by Southeast Missouri, SEMO. Shout out SEMO.
SEMO. SEMO.
Shout out, shout out. And then they lose to Villanova.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like,
Like
uh,
lost.
like lost.
Yeah.
Like, were completely outplayed.
Yeah.
Clearly, like, more than likely the better team, right? But you've got to show up your best
Mhm.
self in May. That's
Mhm.
so hard to do.
Yeah. And it's man. You just you just don't know. You just don't know
No.
what's going to happen now more than ever. And I mean, looking at this, we have like looking at the super regionals, the way that like we have, I think, only
Mm.
two unseeded teams in supers out of
Yes.
16, which talking about what we're talking about, looking at regionals, it doesn't feel like that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, 14 hosts moved on. 14 seeded
14 of
teams
6. 14 of
of
16.
16 moved on. So
Wild.
yeah, I know. Doesn't it not feel like that? And the two that didn't were Baylor and Arizona. Or that did
Or
make it that weren't seeded are Baylor and
Baylor
Arizona.
and Arizona.
It's just, man, there's something to be said about, obviously you look at it and people have questions all the time about the seedings, right? Why didn't so and so make it? Why didn't they host? Why this? Why that? And then you look and you see that 14 to 16 made it. You're like,
Oh,
maybe there's something to it. I maybe the
yeah.
committee kind of had an idea where they're like, this makes sense.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it
So
too, like, I thought it was very interesting how the committee set up potential super regional hosts. And I'm
mhm.
like, I'm always intrigued by where
Yeah.
teams land. But now that we've made it to supers, like, think about all the phenomenal storylines we have. A renewed rivalry in Texas and Texas A&M
Love.
at the top. Your rematch from the Women's College World Series final last year in OU and Florida State.
Yes, ma'am.
Tennessee and Alabama, two of the most historic SEC programs you're ever going to
Mm-hmm.
get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Florida, Baylor, Oklahoma State, Arizona making it. All those
Yeah.
storylines there after they didn't make the tournament last year. Correct me if I'm wrong
Correct.
there.
No, you're
And made
right.
it
You're
all the way
right.
to supers.
Mm-hmm.
UCLA and Georgia. Can you imagine how many home runs are going to be hit in that
All of them. Every at
series?
bat.
All of them. Missouri, Duke, two teams that would Duke would go absolutely berserk for a Women's College World Series berth, but I feel like Missouri would
Yeah.
as well. And then Stanford, LSU, Nija
Friend of the program.
versus friend of the program versus the Tigers,
Oh,
who have been
this.
playing really well lately. We gave them a lot of flack late in the regular season, but LSU has
Yes.
really turned it on the last couple of weeks. Like SEC tournament, beat Tennessee, and
Mm-hmm.
then has just kind of been riding that out. So,
Yeah.
do you wanna pick? You wanna
Yeah.
make our OKC picks
I do
of
be
these
wanting to do that.
supers? I
Yeah.
do want
I,
to do that.
I looking at it, watching them play, watching how they played, like from beginning to end. I have, I think it's tough because I want to be wrong sometimes too, right? Like, especially when
Mhm.
I pick maybe the favored or the host or whatever. But I have Texas, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Florida, Oklahoma State, UCLA, and
That
then I
hurts me
have,
a little bit.
Duke and LSU.
Mm.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
go LSU.
I go LSU
Ooh.
because I think, and this is in no way a knock to either program, but both Missouri and Stanford really struggled to score. I
Yeah.
think that they got away with their pitchers being dogs, and LSU
Dogs.
has proven that sometimes when they win 12-10. Like they don't care about giving up runs because they're
Mhm.
confident that they're going to score a lot of runs.
Yeah.
So I will say Nija, obviously, she's going to hold any offense. Like, can we just talk about it really quick? She has in per 7 innings this season, almost 11 strikeouts per 7 innings and
That's
only
nuts.
3 hits per 7 innings. So it's going to take
Dumb.
timely hitting by LSU for
Mhm.
sure if they're going to beat Nija. But Nija's going to say, give me the ball and I'm
3
going to
games if
shove
she
it.
has to, too.
Yeah. So that to me, I feel like UCLA, Georgia, and Stanford, LSU were maybe the harder picks for me.
Mhm.
But yeah, what do you got? Tell me.
Oof. I have Texas for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. I know. You have to say it. Mostly because you have to.
I have to go Oklahoma. I do, and it
Oh, no.
hurts.
I think the
It
same thing to
hurts.
say.
It hurts. I have to go Oklahoma only like the being at Love's Field.
Oh,
I I have to pick Oklahoma, and I'm very
and that's
sorry because
okay.
I do think though that this is going to be more competitive than people think. Oklahoma, Oklahoma
100,000%.
State.
Especially
Because
the way that Florida State finished against Auburn
Mhm.
with scoring
Yes.
1 million runs.
Yes.
Especially.
They can score with the best of anybody.
Yes, they
It's
can.
just it's gonna be about how does Coach Alameda figure out the pitching order to keep them
Yeah.
balanced? And if
Yeah.
anybody can do it, I do think it's her.
It's Coca.
I expect Florida State one time through the lineup, bop, you're done.
Mhm,
If that.
mhm. Yeah,
That's gonna be a good super though.
I agree.
Tennessee and Alabama.
I'm so sorry. I know.
Frick!
I
Tennessee.
know.
It hurts.
Mhm.
It hurts. It hurts.
I
These
know.
two have hurt me. Alabama looks so much better offensively.
They look so good offensively.
They look incredible. However,
Them
until you prove that you can beat Peyton Gottschall and Carlin Pickens twice, I can't pick against them.
no.
Can't.
Hats off to them for even being able to say that, you know?
Yeah, it's insane. Like
Yeah.
it's two aces coming at you
Mhm.
constantly. Florida, just duh. Nothing
Yeah.
much to say there other than they score a lot of runs.
All the
Going to
time.
Oklahoma State as well, even though Caitlin Lowe is like my favorite softball player of all time. Caitlin
Obviously.
Lowe, open invite whenever you want to hop on.
Please.
Always more than welcome. The UCLA Georgia is tough.
Yeah. It is.
I'm going UCLA.
Okay. All
Their
right.
pitching's been more
That's 6.
consistent and they're at home. I
Yep.
am gonna go Duke
Okay.
and I am gonna go LSU.
Look at us.
Look at us. Are we the exact same?
I think we picked the exact same. Yeah.
I think I'm just more long-winded than you.
No, I
But
loved it every second.
yeah, no, I'm going Duke and LSU are gonna be my upsets.
Yeah, that's how I have it. Yep.
Yeah, I don't any one of these you see going to 3 games?
I would be surprised if half of them didn't go to 3 games.
Mhm.
I feel like we can look at half of them going 3.
Yeah. I like UCLA Georgia going 3. I like
Yeah.
Stanford LSU going 3.
The
I could even see OU and Florida State going 3.
And I was gonna say the same about Texas and A&M. Like
Yeah.
if A&M can attack their Texas's staff, I think
Yeah.
that I can see them. And Trisha Ford,
Dog.
you run through a wall for her. Not that
Yeah,
you wouldn't for
no.
any of these other coaches, but like her leading that group like
Oh
into
my
a super
gosh.
regional, I think like I think they have a shot for sure.
I do too. It seems like we got to interview her a couple of times at the SEC tournament and her
Awesome.
like you can feel her competitiveness through every single word that she speaks. Which
Mhm.
like competitiveness is one of my love languages. So
For sure.
I was like literally ready to I'm not saying I'm gonna put on a Texas A&M uniform because that's not my color palette,
Well, no, of
but
course
I
not.
was ready to like go to war.
Yes.
And I think that's how they all play. Like Texas A&M, like I just feel like they're gonna go in there with absolutely nothing to lose, and they're just gonna like they're gonna bully them.
Hmm.
Like they're gonna try to be a
Yeah.
bully.
And
It's gonna be
mind you,
fun to watch.
Trisha Ford, this is her second season there.
That's dumb. They're gonna
I,
be
that's so scary. So I think you're right.
murder.
Like I love seeing that, we've got the potential for some really, really good matchups. And again, whoever wins out of these, whether it's the seeded team or not, like if it's not the seeded team, I won't feel like it's an upset.
No.
It'll just be like good softball, man.
Yeah, great softball. The biggest one I think would be like an upset would probably be Baylor, just with
Baylor.
how great Florida is playing right now.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
hey, they already knocked out one seeded team. Like
Yeah. They
they
toughed it out
did.
there. So,
They did.
um, speaking of good softball, you want to talk how the top 3 to watch for Player of the Year came out? We've got a friend of the program, Nija Kennedy.
Duh, because
We've
her numbers are absolutely
They're
redonkulous.
so stupid. We've got
Her
Lexi
ERA like
Kilfoyle.
0.2.
It's 0.5, which is still this
That's
like
dumb.
nothing. It's not like nothing.
Dumb.
We've got Lexi Kilfoyle and we've got Reese
Mhm.
Atwood. We've got 3 just dynamite players up for first of all, how did you pick from the 25 to the 10 to these? I mean,
No, I don't
so
understand.
tough. And I don't know. It can go any which way, truly.
Video game numbers from all three of them. Lexi Kilfoyle has been so impressive to me this season.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously
Mm-hmm.
I got to watch her a lot when she was at Alabama, and
Mm-hmm.
when she transferred over, I didn't get to see her as much this year. I feel like they've been on like a lot more just and
Yeah.
following them. So like watching the movement on her pitches, Nija's ball moves a ton up, cut whatever
Mm-hmm.
wherever it goes, but so does Kilfoyle's.
Yes.
It's falling off the table, and she's using her off speed, like, a lot more, I feel like now, which makes her 10 times more effective.
Yeah.
I
No, it's rude.
stupid. I don't wanna be a hitter if I'm standing in the box against those 2.
No,
But
and
if I wanna be a hitter, I do wanna be Reese Atwood
she's
because
oh, what
holy
a staple.
macaroons.
Holy macaroons, you said it.
Like,
Like hitting, like you said, video game numbers, hitting 433, like
as a
hitting over
power righty. She's not a slapper, people.
22 home runs,
Dingers.
22 home runs, 88 RBI. Like
Dumb.
when you talk,
OPS is like 1-1, isn't it?
yeah,
Like
yes,
1100?
it's like a
Yeah.
million.
Yeah.
And
Stupid.
she is doing this against the best. Like
Yeah.
that,
She had to play Oklahoma 3 times,
yeah,
right?
literally. Yeah.
Play Oklahoma State 3 times, right?
Yep. Yep.
Stupid.
Yep. I love to see I love diving into numbers, right? I love numbers. They're my friend. I they tell a story. And I think when you're looking at the player of the year, right? Like we can have the conversation. I think that everybody has this conversation every year that there might be a day that we can have a player of the year and a pitcher of the year to maybe give these hitters maybe a little bit of a chance
Yeah,
because
I
we
agree.
know, especially the way that we play pro softball now in the Athletes Unlimited format, we know how important it is to have a good pitcher. So, like, obviously, at the end of the day, we've played on teams with good pitchers and
Mhm.
across our careers, right? We played on teams with elite pitchers where you always have a chance to win when you have an elite
Mhm.
pitcher,
Mhm.
and teams where the pitching isn't as elite and you're like, you got to fight for your life sometimes.
Right.
So very understandably so how important a player of the year, like you said, it's player of the year. Um, but man, I look at 88 RBIs and that screams to me player of the year because it's
Yeah.
not it's not hitting 433 with just like hitting singles and like just kind of being on base a lot and maybe
Yeah.
that's the end of the impact. She's driving in runs. She's on
Yeah.
base for the hitters
No.
behind her. I would love to hear more of your thoughts
No,
on this,
100%.
Atwood.
I definitely think there should be a hitter and a pitcher. Just
Mm-hmm.
again, to your point, like we know how crucial pitching is. Like you're not gonna get to Oklahoma City if you don't have a dominant ace.
No.
You're just not. You're not gonna get to Oklahoma City unless you have like a solidified 2 as well.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you need more than 1. That's how important pitching is.
Mm-hmm.
But the eye test matters to me. Like the numbers aside, and
Mm-hmm.
Reese Atwood's numbers are insane. Nija's numbers are insane. So are Kilfoyle's. The eye test of Reese Atwood in the box.
Oh.
There's just something different about when she steps up to the plate that I think sets her apart from pretty much every other hitter in the country right
Mm-hmm.
now. The sheer intimidation factor that she has. She can go
Mm-hmm.
yard at any moment. Like she's the last person you want up with runners in scoring position. And
Mm-hmm.
you can't walk her either because Texas is so deep offensively,
Yep.
which has I think really helped giving her an opportunity to get to these numbers that she's getting, right? And
Yes.
obviously you have to have players on base to get RBIs as well.
Yep. Absolutely.
For me, my player of the year is Reese Atwood. If
I
I had
love,
a vote, which I don't, they don't give me one. But if I had a vote, it would be Reese Atwood.
and can we call out that 2 out of these 3 candidates are sophomores?
Dumb.
Bro, but listen, hello.
Dumb.
Two,
Hello.
Nija and Reese are sophomores.
Yeah.
What is this?
Stupid.
What are they going to be like in 2 years? That is so scary.
What are they going to be like as pros?
I can't.
Think about that. I can't wait for
Man,
that. That's
Speaking
what I
of,
can't wait for.
Lexi Kilfoyle was drafted to Athletes Unlimited.
Bam!
That drop ball that she has command over to be able to throw it here and here and here, like professional. It is professional.
She can
Yeah,
also go in and out with it. She don't care.
I care.
I care a lot. I personally care a lot.
I
But
can't wait to see. I'm kind of glad I don't have Halo's mic just
Halo's
got
throwing her
off.
mic. Oh, Max making an appearance. So
Maybe the Mac. Anyway, I don't want to have to pick because I don't know that I can. I agree with you. Like Reese, unbelievable. Lexi, unbelievable. Nyjah, unbelievable. So I will be happy and excited for whoever they call out because I don't think you can go wrong here with these three.
no, you really can't, and it's really hard. It's gonna be really hard for the committee to, or whoever votes on it, to pick one.
Yeah, we'll be here. We'll be sitting here watching,
We
waiting.
will watch him waiting,
Um,
appreciating.
always, never hating. You know, so good time to transition into. We wanted to talk a little bit about mental health in these last few episodes have been a little non-traditional for our bantees who are used to our normal format. But we really want to relate it to what we've been seeing a lot this weekend, and we will continue to see is players' careers are ending, right? Like you have teams that are knocked out of regionals. You have 64 teams and only 16 make it. So you have all these other teams, 48 math,
Math.
that have seniors that are now
Yeah.
done. So Halo, I know when you graduated, you
Yeah.
obviously already had experience with Team USA, so kind of knew that it wasn't over for you. But what were some things about ending your career at Alabama? Like, how did you deal with that, and do you wish maybe you would have known now? Like, what would you have done differently, or anything like that?
I would have, I 100% would have handled it differently. Like my
Mm.
first year out of college was really hard for me. I went to grad school at FAU
Mhm.
to be near Kylie,
Mhm.
and like when you I don't think people understand, like when you're watching these women play, this what they're experiencing right now, they are the biggest superstars they are likely ever going to be.
Mhm.
Even with Team USA, with Athletes Unlimited, all the amazing work that we're doing, that's at least how it was when we were graduating. I think it's better
Mhm.
now, but it's
Yeah.
still like you're not going to get the machine that is college sports media covering you
Mhm.
anymore. So when you come from these major programs, like what comes to mind, Alabama, Arkansas, Kentucky getting beat out, Washington getting beat out,
Mhm.
these kids are bona fide superstars.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, no
Right.
one no one cares. And so I think like it's a full-blown identity crisis for a lot of these athletes. I know it's something that I experienced. Like I had to
Mhm.
find what it was that made me happy outside of softball, because you do it
Mhm.
every single day. You're in that culture every single day working towards a common goal. And yes, I had pro ball, I had Team
Mhm.
USA. We didn't know if we were going to be in the Olympics yet or not, but
Yeah.
that's still a 9-month off season
Yeah.
where you're just like a normal human,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like it's a very difficult thing that a lot of these athletes are going to go through. And for me, it was just a process of acceptance, almost like you're grieving like the loss of your career.
Oh my God.
Like
Yeah.
you have to accept the fact that it's over and it happened, and you have to acknowledge the fact that you really miss it. And you have
Yeah.
to acknowledge the fact that any softball experience you have is never going to match that.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
a lot of these athletes no longer have anything to look forward to. So like in high school, right? Like they were all like, "Oh, well, yeah, I'm going to college. Like
College.
I'm gonna miss
Mhm.
my girls for sure, but I'm gonna have new teammates. I'm gonna have new girls. I'm gonna have
You
new, you know,
lose. Hmm.
new yeah, new. You don't have that anymore. You don't have that anymore, and it's
I
hard. I do think it's a real grieving process, and it can either be an identity crisis or it can be like a new identity avenue for you to
hmm
figure out kind of who you are. And the earlier you can do that, if you're like a 12-year-old listening to this, the earlier you can like figure out what it is that you love to do outside of softball, the the easier, I think.
Beautiful.
that it'll be.
That was
And
beautiful.
what's that like retirement thing where they're like, did I read this somewhere or did you tell me this? Like when you go into like your athletic career retirement, it's best if you like prepare to accept it 3 to 5 years in advance.
Dang, that wasn't me, but that's good to know.
I think I read that somewhere. I don't know if that was like maybe that was one of my former like college life development
That's
people that I
amazing.
ran into at Alabama. But it's like the earlier you prepare for it, the easier it is. I didn't prepare for it at all
No,
because I'm like, we're gonna go win the World Series. That's it. Like that was my only mindset. And then it
well,
didn't
fun.
happen, and I was a mess,
Mm.
like an absolute mess. So
Ugh,
yeah, if I could go back, I would have prepared a little bit
yeah.
for it.
I get the avoidance though, where you're like, I don't want to prepare.
I'm like, yeah, you know, you're locked in. You want to win, and that's all you want to
Mhm.
think about. But it's hard.
Uh-huh.
How did you handle it?
I still haven't.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad, right?
I'll
Sad.
never forget this. My mom came down to LMU. It was like April, I graduated on Cinco de Mayo in 2012. So
Hola, Cinco
that
de
was
Mayo.
so my mom
Virgin
came out.
margaritas.
It was a great graduation.
Yeah,
But
fun.
my mom came out in like late April to start helping me pack my stuff up. We went to Target to get some bins and everything just to kind of make it
Ugh,
easier after I graduated. And I
ugh.
remember being in the parking lot of Target, snot crying with my mom. What am I gonna do? I don't want to stop playing softball. It was
Yeah.
horrible. But then I kid you not, the next week I got the invite to Team USA, but I was nowhere near ready. It was like I wasn't even prepared to start grieving because it upset me so much to think about this thing ending.
Yeah.
And it just like luckily I've been putting it off for a lot of years now, but I just remember like feeling such a sense of pride getting to represent LMU for 4 years
Mhm.
and getting to be a part, like even just when I go back to LMU and I like smell the smells of campus and
Yeah.
I walk the walk that I used to walk, I'm like there's just nothing like it. And I think I love what you said about like accepting it,
Yeah.
where it's like if you know it's gonna suck, then lean into it, man. Like
Yeah.
I would hate to have been like, oh no, I'm honestly totally cool with leaving this place I called home for 4 years. And
Mhm.
I like forget that. No,
Yeah.
it's brutal, especially when like you and I really are so lucky we found the place that was right for us, the universities that were our homes.
Mhm.
And leaving it is hard. I think that's such an amazing, beautiful thing that leaving is so hard. So
Yeah.
I hate watching the girls cry on TV because I'm like, girl, I'm with
Brutal.
you.
Yeah, no, it's brutal. It's
It's
brutal.
horrible.
I mean, just watch it like Erin Koffel, her career being over at Kentucky, Hannah Gamble being done at Arkansas, Maddie Penta being done at Auburn. Like
Just crazy.
it's it's so hard. It's
I
so
I remember, I don't know why this stands out to me. I remember in 2011, it might have been Katie Cochran, outfielder for Arizona State,
mm,
former USA member. Um,
goat.
they were playing at Stanford in a regional and they were going to lose. And Katie was crying in the dugout
Mhm.
because it was like, this is happening. And
It's
she was
yeah,
so,
it hits you.
but she had like, they started to rally and she had to get ready and get on deck. And I remember seeing her like wiping the tears and getting out there. And I remember thinking, there is a lot to carry when you're thinking about you're going into your last at bat ever.
Yeah.
Like that there's pressure of winning the World Series and then there's pressure of like this is my last moment,
Yeah.
which makes Amanda Chittister's home run in her last at bat even more
10 times
ridiculous.
more unbelievable
Honestly, I think
to know it's your last about.
we're living in a simulation. Like that can't have been real, right?
It didn't feel real.
Like my God. So
Didn't
just
feel
so
real.
tough. Our
Friend of the
hearts,
program.
friend of the program, Amanda Chittister, absolutely out of her mind. Just I'm just so proud of these girls for fighting the way that they fight,
Yeah.
you know, and it's not easy and it's never going to be easy and you're never like,
No.
"Oh, thank God my career's over. Thank goodness."
No. No. But you have to at some point like accept the fact that there's like Coach Murphy said it all along, and it's more in a softball sense, I think, this year, but like that's why I have it on my glove, the phrase like the best is yet to come. Like
Ugh.
you always have to believe your best is in front of you. Like, yes, it's gonna hurt when your career ends. It always does.
Yeah.
Like nobody retiring, I think, is ever easy. Like something gives up on you at some point, right? Whether that's your like desire to play, your competitiveness, your body, your
Mhm.
mental health. Like something's gonna give at some point. You can't play forever. It's never easy. But like I think if you approach it with that mindset of like, regardless, like my best is still it's still ahead. I think
Yeah.
it makes that grieving process not easier, but just more manageable.
Yeah, like
And it took how long did it take you to like get over it? Because it took me like no joke 2 years to get
no,
over it.
it wasn't so much that
Minimum.
it was like getting over like not being an LMU softball player anymore, but like I now am living far from my friends that were just a campus walk away. Like
Right.
the camaraderie, the fun, the like hotels, the all of
The
those,
banter.
all the banter and the ice cream and the
Yeah.
McDonald's runs. It's like that went away as well. So it was like you're not just losing the game, you're losing your entire culture and routine, and you have to
Mhm.
start over. So I think, like you said, acknowledging that and accepting that and preparing for that is like best is yet to come. And I love that. And I think about it in a very bookish way where it's like
Yes.
I have read some incredible books, and when they're done, I'm like, man, I want to go through all of it again for the first time. Like I hate that it's over, but I open another amazing book. So it's like you said, the
Oh,
best
that's good.
thank you. Because
Ooh,
this isn't a chapter closing for these girls. This is a
it's a
book closing.
book. It is a book.
So they get to start, the rest is still unwritten.
Shout out Natasha Bedingfield. If you ever want to come on the program, Natasha Bedingfield.
Our new theme song. Um
No,
anyway,
the rest is still unwritten. They got stuff to
oh,
write.
man, that was so deep. I'm feeling both sad and inspired in a very
It's
complex way. But I do want
that
to
is deep.
thank USAsoftballstore.com for dressing us.
Speaking
And
of deep,
speaking of things that make us feel better, a comfy sweatshirt. Are you kidding me?
this is my emotional support sweatshirt.
That is Halo's emotional support sweatshirt, and you can have it too if you use code BHB15. You can get 15% off.
I'm
And look,
covering my tears.
yeah, and you too. It soaks up tears real nice.
It does. It's
Yeah,
not dry fit, but it's like close.
it's soft, it's great, and
It's soft.
I, that seemed like a really natural plug.
Yeah, that seemed like a perfect time to mention that you guys should go buy merch.
Yeah,
So
like
you can write the rest of your unwritten things.
yeah, do your thing out there,
Yeah,
everybody.
that's great.
God, this
It,
podcast, man.
it's pretty emo right now.
Yeah, what are you gonna say?
But it's good. But we're gonna segue into HPP and national team news. In all seriousness, I've missed my broadcast voice over the past few weeks, so here we go.
Yeah, me too. Let's hear it.
Invites went out to Hawaii athletes this past week. Final HPP event for May was this weekend with over 110 athletes in
Amazing.
Deer Park, Texas, which is outside Houston, in case you're unfamiliar with Texas geography, like I am. So thanks for including that in the show notes to our fabulous producer, Chris and Todd. HPP events in June. Head to the Midwest with stops in Kansas City, June 11th, St. Louis, June 21st, and Holland, Michigan on June 28th. You can visit hpp.usasoftball.com for more information or a list of other identifiers. That's hpp.usasoftball.com.
Folks, I hope
Why
that
is
you
that
have
so fun for me to do? I don't know.
it's fun to listen to, it's fun to watch. I hope that all you Bantees out there listening have as much fun as we do because we are living the dream.
Truly.
It
We
is
get
so
to
fun
talk
to
about
talk.
softball.
Yeah. It
it's-
really is a
yeah.
blast.
In a glass.
Yeah. I don't have any more words to rhyme off the top, but you nailed
Period.
it. Period. I guess we'll see you next week after
Yeah.
Super Regionals. I mean, I hope that you guys send us your picks, like who do you
Yeah.
think, what are the 8 teams that you Bantees think are going to come out of it? And we
Yeah.
can compare next week.
And also, if you guys like, we're just gonna throw this out here, but if you guys are gonna be in Oklahoma City, like, let us know because guess who's gonna be there too?
You girls.
Your favorite banties, Samo
Halo
and
and
Halo.
Samu. I love that we
Running.
both said each other first.
Love it.
We're gonna be
Love
there.
it.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
we
be there.
are. We're
Just
gonna
like
be having
this.
a great time. So come see us, come say hello, and make sure you get Base Hits and Banter merch.
Yeah, and I know that it's probably gonna be spicy hot out there, but like Halo's still gonna be wearing that
No,
hoodie.
this is yeah, the hoodie will be worn.
100%.
Probably in the USA softball offices whenever they
When
give
there's
us
air
air
conditioning.
conditioning.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Mhm.
it'll be worn.
Halo, it's been a pleasure. You're my just one of my all-time favorite people. I just thought
Yeah.
that I should throw that in there for this
Always
episode.
always a pleasure.
Thanks for being you.
Teammates for life. Thanks for
That's
being
right.
you.
Until
Um
next time.
until next time, roll tide and go USA softball Eagles.